Welcome back to Doc's Hot Shop and Forge. So today we're making parts for some new dies for the Flypress. Among them will be this one, which is going to be a punch or drift, I guess you could call it, for making tea light holders. Now, to get these to work, I need to get these collars on. Now, I'll be making up some other blank tools, so there's a few of these. But the collars are too small, and I don't have anything bigger. So what I've done is I've made up a 10-degree included angle drift in the lathe, which will allow me to get these hot and quickly drift them out. Might be a couple of heats to do it, but it should be relatively quick. And as we go on with this project, I'll show you where these tooling fit in the Flypress. And some ideas for some of the things that I'm planning on making. So let's get the forge lit, let's get these hot, get them drifted out so we can start at least making this one. We still have to make the bottom die for this one, which will be quite a specific one, and will govern the thickness of steel plate that I use for making the tea light holders. So let's have some fun. One in position. So this portion goes inside the ram on the press, and this part is the working part. So we'll need to weld that on around the outside there. We've left quite a significant amount of clearance for what we need to do, and now we need to make up the bottom die. There'll be another bit of a turning job somewhere along the line. So, where this die is going to go is essentially up in here, and the purpose of the collar is to keep the shank from bottoming out in here. Now I know that there's this setup so you can actually drive things down if they get stuck, but the point is not to let them get stuck. So the whole point of the collar is it stops it going too far and gives a good support for this against the body of the ram. So this one will join this one and this one. I will also be making a blank one to hold punches for doing hammer eyes. Now for that I need to make a modification or a modified base. So I'll be using this one because it has a removable, well, theoretically removable. The problem is this seats up against this and is flaring the metal, which is leading to it binding. Not ideal. Can't get that out. So this sort of binding is what I'm trying to avoid in here by putting that collar on. So this hole will need tidying up. Now this is a piece of spring steel, so it's going to be a bit of a pain. But we'll get that sorted. You can see where it was binding is directly in line with where this is wearing into that. Out of curiosity, what's the size on that? So that's 32 square. I have a feeling I may have some buggy axle that's about that size. Well, I've got some at 29 and some at 35 or 34. So I think the 35 or 34, with a little bit of light milling to square it up to size, will provide suitable shanks for what I'm wanting to do. And for the stripper plate, it's basically just a locating lug, so realistically it could even just be some 33mm or 32mm round. Because that one will have a lip that goes over to keep it square. Starting to get a bit of edge bevel, and that fuller is definitely starting to form. I'm hoping that this will also give me a little bit of extra length to the blade. At the moment I'm about 10 centimeters short of where I want to be, and I don't want to waste too much material. To be honest, I think 8 tons is probably a little bit little for the size of these dies. Awful lot of surface area. So it'll be a multi-pass job. actually working really well. So, we've ended up with a sword that's probably close to 1 metre overall, which is like seriously longer than we actually needed, but that just proves how effective that forging die actually is. Seeing a surface seam. Straight as I'm going to get it. So to get the most out of a fly press, you really do need a lot of tooling. So as I've been working through some of the projects recently, you'll have seen me use some of these. So this is the 28mm rounding die that I used in the video on making the post vise screw This is a general purpose drawing out die set at 45 degrees. I've got a matching top, which is rotatable, can be set to any angle, but the bottom piece that goes with that one can only be set to 90 degrees, so you're drawing into the back column of the machine. But the beauty of the Flypress is, and being able to make your own tooling, is that you can make specific purpose tooling. And this is a set of drawing out dies. Sorry, let me move that so you can actually see them. For drawing out the bevels and fuller for a sword in one go. And I'll show a picture at the end of the result of that. It's actually very efficient, and it really elongates the sword immensely, as well as giving you some extra width. So I went from 40 millimeters to almost 50 millimeters in width. But what really happened was that I went from a blade length of 650 millimeters to 850 millimeters. In essence, I've got a 1 meter long sword now from something that was 800 odd long when I started, which is an amazing result. And the fuller is remarkably uniform, it's smooth, it almost needs no finishing. It does need grinding out to get rid of the scale and the scale marks, but other than that, it's pretty much ready to roll. So, to get the most out of a Flypress, you do need the tooling, and I haven't detailed too much about how I made these. I've got a few pictures and a few bits and pieces, but they really are handy and they really make the machine sing. You can make so many more tools, and I've got so many plans for additional tooling for it. So that's what I'm going to leave off. If you've enjoyed this short video, hit the thumbs up.